this is your chance if anybody wanted to say anything. Come on.
As you all know, my daughter has PTSD. And in 2011 was her first hospitalization. So we get her out of the hospital. And I'm thinking, what am I supposed to do now? Because she can't stay home by herself. Say anything. So I still had the RV. And Mom and Dad told me to just come here. And we would live here for a month, which is what we did. We lived in the RV. Lucas decided at that point we should live in the RV here forever. And I went to work, so I drove the boys to Pinellas County to work. And Belle stayed here with her granddaddy all day on the porch. I think that man probably played 5,000 games of Go Fish and everything else with her. He was so patient. He sat there and he listened to her. He gave her advice. And I know that they had always been close and they loved each other. But it was a good time for them to bond. And ever since then, I loved him even more. But Bella had a chance to bond with her granddad. Just like he sat with Aunt Doris, he was there with Bella every minute of the day. He was with them. I remember one year for his birthday. I was like, Dad, what do you want me to get you for your birthday? And he said, baby, I need you to cook for me. I said, okay, because he was always asking me, darling, what are you cooking for me next? So I had just gotten the Pauline cookbook. So we made the beer and the rear chicken and the green beans and the potatoes and the buttermilk pound cake and the strawberries. And he ate. And he ate. And he ate. So I said, Dad, you need to stop because I think you're going to go into a diabetic coma. And he said, no, I don't care. God can take me right now. And the man kept eating until all the time. He loved that. When he was in the nursing home, he couldn't eat the food for a long time. I kept saying, Dad, as soon as you can eat food, I promise I'm going to make you a sweet potato pie. And when I heard from Mom that he could eat, I brought him in the sweet potato pie. And we brought him in like a quarter of it. And he was eating and eating and down to the last couple of bites. And Lucas leaned over the hospital bed and said, Granddaddy, can I share that with you? He got the look. Yeah, it's funny. No, you didn't. I remember when I got pregnant with Lucas as a single mom, wondering what I was going to do. Dad was so happy. He didn't say anything about it, of course, until later. He was very supportive. And the first thing he said was, God knew that I needed a grandbaby. And he looked at Mom and said, don't you touch this one. This one's mine. And he was there, and sure enough, he was Granddaddy's boy. There's lots of good memories, but those are some of my favorite ones. And how much he loved Lucas and put a cigar in Lucas' mouth at a year old. Gave Luke the farmer's hat, and it was cute. He wasn't, but and his little overalls. So those are some of my good memories. Lucas, do you want to say something about Granddaddy?
Yeah. I remember when I had gotten the golf cart, getting kind of curious. I was zooming back and forth across here, and I thought I would try to go more dangerous, and I went over there. I hit a tree, like the first few seconds I was over there, and when I told him about it, he didn't want to hear about the golf cart. He was just making sure I was okay. Not really caring about the golf cart, he just wanted to make sure I was okay. And then he got after me for the golf cart.
Okay.
I guess the one where Larry, when my son was young, John, used to pick him up every day at the bus stop. And he watched Ninja Turtles. And he would, shut up, Josh. Because he used to dress up as a Ninja Turtles that we got him and run around the living room after school every day. said, shut up, Josh, as long as I can remember. I guess probably that's when I'll always remember. But every day he was there no matter what to pick up Josh from school because I had to work. So, you know, that's probably the one memory I'll think I'll remember forever. And that tree was his garage. I remember when he planted that thing. Yep.
Thank you, Doug.
Jack?
I'm done. Sorry.
Yeah, the only thing for sure about Uncle Larry is he would do anything for any of his family, but you know, he loved having kids around. I mean, even my kids, when I would show up without them, he's always asking, "Where are the kids? How are they doing? Why aren't they here?" And it was like, I got the impression that he really didn't care whether or not I was here. He wanted to see the kids more than he wanted to see me.
All right, I have something to say. I got a lot of fond memories. Got some bad ones too. I kind of went off on a different path than a lot of people, but I was really proud. When he was able to go fishing with me one time, see what it was like and what I do. But the most important thing I want to say is this beautiful woman right here. I love with all my heart. Boy, it's my mama. And you put up with him in times that I just could not imagine. And to me, that is the most amazing thing.
I love you too, boys.
You were the rock that
Dad
kept it.
loved you, boys.
I love my dad. And I had a lot of fun times too. I can remember one time we had to go to some sewage treatment plant back when I was about 7 years old. Okay, let me stand up and get on down with this here program now. I can remember when I was about 7 years old, we had to go to a sewage treatment plant and get a cow. Anybody remember that?
I remember that.
And Uncle John was with us, and Dad, and Jack. I think John was there. We were all getting this cow out of a sewage treatment plant. Do you remember that? Do you remember that, Jack?
Yep. Trouble.
Man. Got a lot of fond memories. To my dad, I love you.
Well, I will say the best thing Larry ever gave me was his 2 boys. I love his boys like they are my own. He always said, they're my boys. And I said, like hell, they're your boys. They're my boys also. And I always considered, even at work, if they ask how many children I have, I always include the boys.
one of the big things is I would come home with Monday on my face. It was a Monday. It was at school. I wasn't having it. Nope. He would go and he'd go, how many people did you kill? And I go, mentally or physically? And he'd go, well, you're here, so I'm guessing it would be mentally. And I go, well, and then I tell him how many people. Usually it's about on the 4 mark, depending on how many teachers decide to make me mad. And then he go, you hide the bodies? I go, yep. And then he goes, you made sure you cut them up, right? And I go, yeah. And he go, okay, then you did good. And I went, okay. And that was our afternoon routine right when I came home from school, when he was home. And one of the other things was every time I would get into a fight with Andy, which is my biological father, and it decided to blow up out of proportion, he would always come to me and he'd say, I know we don't always get along, but I do love you. And no matter what happens, we will keep you safe. We will keep you here. We will not let him get you. And he always said that. No matter what fight we got into, whatever disagreement he got into, I knew that no matter what happened, he treated me not as a stepchild, but as a grandkid. And I love that.
I'll say something. It was a memory, a very funny memory of me and him. We weren't always that close, like many of you, but we would talk a lot. And I was sitting in the living room one day, just on the computer, and Nana was in the kitchen cooking. He went to go walk out on the front porch. You guys had that screen door open that always fell down. He was looking at the computer, seeing what I was doing while walking at the same time. He didn't see where he was going, and he ran into the screen door. And I just died of laughter, and he just stood there clueless. That's one of the most memories I'll always remember.
He was a hoot. He always liked walking into that screen door. And I did too. So did Buster.
Yesterday, I had to take my little dog and my cat to the vet, and Lucas and I were waiting for the veterinarian, and they had a sign on the wall in the little exam room, and it said the Rainbow Bridge, and it was a story about how, yeah, I know you were crying, about how the dog had died, and the dog was in heaven, and the dog was happy and playing, and how God takes care of the dogs, and the dog stays there sometimes for years, and then all of a sudden the dog hears something and runs through the bridge. They was talking about how the dog's person had died too, and they were together in heaven. So there I am in the vet's office crying my eyes out because I'd like to think that Buster was there. Buster wasn't a dog to him. Buster was like another child. And I swear he got really sick after Buster died. Buster was such a part of him and part of the family. And a big part of the closure for me was reading the sign about the Rainbow Bridge. I'm going to have to find it. Because I could just imagine when Buster was a puppy. We had just moved here. It was the end of October 2012. We had just moved from Mexico. And had to get here safely. Mom and Dad helped me get here safely. And we get here, and they had the damn dog. Buster was a puppy, and I always had colorful hats on Jasper. It was cold that year. And Buster would hold Jasper on the ground with his head, like bite his hat. It was so funny, and Dad was like, it's okay, he'll stop. And sure enough, Buster was like very close to all the children. But I like to think that he's there in heaven. They're together.